Just where it was needed, gleamed in black as night, cloistered in injustice, dead in the eye of time. Nobody is losing, faces merge and change, but your face remains the same. Swallows will be here by dawn, and when we're finally sober, they'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt. Significant life, just what it was needed, gleamed in the blackest night, cloistered in injustice dead, and in the eyes of time, nobody's losing. The sparrows will be here by dawn. When we finally sober, they'll be gone. The trees will bloom and ice will melt. We'll always remember how it felt.
Welcome folks. What an absolutely stunning bit. Very peaceful. This bit of ground here is going to be my home for tonight. The location that we're in is Loch Etive. Behind us there is the mighty Ben Starrive, and just to the left of it is Glen Etive. I've been up Glen Etive and I've been up Ben Starrive as well. Just a different entrance coming away from the west there. And my, that was some walk. This is absolutely beautiful. So Loch Etive is a sea loch and it's tidal, so it does come in a bit, so I can see roughly where it's been. So we'll be okay where we are. So tonight is just a little bit different because I have a new tent, so that we'll be dealing with that shortly. But I'll get a drink of water first and just take in these views and let my feet breathe, I think. Right, water. Okay everyone, so as well as this beautiful surroundings, I brought out a new tent, and of course it is the Bobcat one from OEX. Never had any of these tents before, so this is all brand new to me. I've seen a couple of them being shown before, and being a light backpacker, I thought this was reasonably small, pretty compact to be honest, and so I wanted one. That's basically it. So here it is. I'm going to put it up, I'm going to sleep in it tonight, and we'll test it out to what we need. Oh. Excellent. Okay, when I was talking earlier about the pegging points and the amount of pegs that you get, it'd be handy if it was the right amount of pegs, or if not, a couple extra. So I've just spread out these pegs here. Potentially they could go in these, there is room for these slots here, and these two really have a space for them at the end of each pole. There is a loop there. Whether you need that or not, I don't know. Depends on windy circumstances and how heavy or how blustery the wind would be to allow you to anchor it down even further. But anyway, let's open the door. This is actually quite nice. I think that's a nice touch actually. I know you would probably need it anyway, so to stop it dripping down onto you, but it's just nice to have that little bit of extra room there. I know it is an actually small tent, so I'm quite well aware that it is going to be pretty tight, so it is for lightweight backpacking. So we'll get the insides up. Right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 eyelets going round the edge of the tent here. There is nothing holding it back there, so it's just the pure front that's actually going to get lifted. Okay, so there we go. The eyelets are connected by a bungee cord through the little hole with the male connector going through. It's been like that for decades, that style of attaching interior, and it works well, so why not? So we could probably peg this ground sheet out. Actually quite nice. This is different, where your interior fly net and your door actually gets held together at the bottom there with roughly the same just a bit of cordage and all that. I don't know why they've done that. Maybe it would have been easier just having a wee stuff sack away along at that side just for the same reason, but they've went with that, which actually looks not too bad. One self-inflate with a little bit of puff mattress in place. And one standard sleeping bag as well, which fits nice and cosy. So what I'll do is I'll get all my kit out that I need to, and I'll put my rucksack here and I'll show you what it's like, all the kit out that I need. Right, what better way to test it than actually physically being in the tent myself. So, okay, that's my rucksack. All I've brought out is, I've got my water in the corner there. I've got 3 water bottles. I've got my stove and my pots. I've got a cup, fork, knife and spoon. I've got my my stove windshield, and everything of my food is contained in this bag, which keeps it all in one place. On a note, when I was taking out the poles, I did notice there is no pole tube in case anything breaks. I always bring a sort of tube. Now whether that fits or not, I don't know. It might be too big, but at the end of the day, it's probably worth finding a bit of tubing of some sort, maybe a couple of bits, and actually just fit it onto your tube and just seeing if it fits alright, because there's nothing worse. I actually have had it snap, or split I should say, on when I was doing the North Coast 500, and it's a very worrying situation. But anyway, so it's probably worth just finding a tube of some sort, slipping it over your tent tube, because it doesn't come with one, and it'll just give you that little peace of mind. Just have to put even other bits. What I do carry extra is a couple of carabiner clips, and this is the wee roll of tape, so if anything was to rip, at least it would actually attempt to make it repair. So I'm not saying I'm an expert at doing it, but it's definitely worth carrying a little tube of it, just in case that inevitable happens. Never say it never happens, because it happened to me, a split pole, and it was a nightmare. Just as well I had insulating tape and a couple of cable ties to amend it at that moment in time. So yeah, definitely worth finding a little tube, no matter what tent you've got. If it doesn't come with a tent tube repair kit, it's always worth finding one. So that, and patch paper is probably 2 essential items that you could really have with. Put them in your tent bag and it adds no more weight. Right, I mean this is a very cosy and tight tent to be sleeping in, so yes, looking forward to it. Right, talking about stoves, and pots and cups and knives and forks. I'm hungry, I need my dinner. Okay folks, all fed and watered, and I've just been relaxing just for the last wee bit, taking in some of these sights and everything, and typical Scottish weather, it's starting to rain. It's been great all day actually, so it's bound to have done it sometime, and basically I'm here to test this tent, so I'm going to batten down the hatches. I'll do a little bit of filming possibly for the scenery and get tucked up in this sleeping bag and hopefully get a good sleep. So I'll call it a night. I have my coffee and I have some little bits of snacks there I'm going to fire into and see how this tent does. But for now, I shall see you in the morning. Night for now. So I thought I'd give you this little update. It's been raining for probably 3/4 of an hour now, and have no issues. All I've got in my sleeping compartment is my airbed, my sleeping bag. I've got my camera there, got my jumper for my pillow, and I've just got my phone and the battery bank as well. That's all I've got in here, plus a head torch for above there for night time if I needed. Everything else seems to be outside, and there's, you know, I know there's not tons of room and you're sort of at an angle, but I'm going to say I'm comfy. I don't feel awkward. I don't feel confined. If you can live like that with your sleeping compartment for sleeping in and everything else out there, I think it's not a bad little tent. Anyway, I'm just going to hit the pillow and hopefully this rain will help me fall asleep. Well, I was having a good sleep. I didn't want to say good morning, folks, yet. But I got awoken by the tide coming in, and sheer panic has set in, or had set in, thinking I was going to get flooded out this tent. My own stupid fault that I didn't realise how close the tide was coming in. So I've packed up everything into my bags. I've got my waterproofs and my essential kit ready to put on, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I've been monitoring the tide for 20 minutes. So I'm probably not going to sleep for the rest of the night. It's one of these stupid mishaps. It's probably not going to come in any further because there was no signs of it on the grass or roundabout, so there is a limit for where it's coming. But in saying that, there always is that little bit of panic that comes to your head. I've calmed down now and everything's ready just to leave if anything does happen. But I wasn't expecting that. Things take you by surprise, and this tent, being so small as it is, made me put most of my kit away, which is all in all a bit of a godsend. I didn't have to pack much away, just put my sleeping bag away and bits and pieces like the stove. So it just goes to show that we can get caught out with the most stupid and the most simplest of things. But fingers crossed, it doesn't come to anything. I'll keep you updated. Well, good morning, folks. Well, that was a bit of an eventful night. A bit of a heart stopper. We've had all sorts. It was nice and calm yesterday, then the wind picked up, and then it hammered it right down with rain. And then I just awoke with the sound of water. And it was the tide had come right up to the edge of the tent there. And yes, I think like anyone, I went into panic mode, thinking the worst. I had to bail out. So I got everything packed away, out of my sleeping bag, everything away. Had my waterproof jacket there and my waterproof trousers and my boots all ready to put on at the last minute. So I monitored that probably for a couple hours and eventually felt safe enough to get my sleeping bag back out. So I got back into it and snuggled down, nice and cosy, nice and warm. And as we see this morning, the tide is out. So panic over. Nothing too drastic. A wild camp wouldn't be an adventure if it didn't bring a bit of dramatic tension to your night and day. And just on that, the battery in my head torch is actually dwindling away, and I didn't bring a spare one. I left it in the car. But I did have a backup torch. So, if that failed and I did need to bail out, I would have been scrambling about in the dark. So it just shows you there's another little tip. So if you're bringing a head torch, bring a second battery or a second torch. I'm quite sure you do though. But anyway, apart from sleeping on and off, I was comfy, I was warm. The tent, for what it is, it's actually such a good little thing. I really like it. There's something about it. Yes, it's small. Yes, it's compact. Probably not a lot of room for a lot of people. But if you're one of these people that just like putting everything in a rucksack, bare minimum, go camp a night in the wild, maybe 2 nights, I think this is a really good tent. And I think I could take this on a few different adventures to give it a really good testing. But overall, I'm dry, stood up to the wind, and I'm really pleased with it. So if you've got one of these, like I said before, if you've got one and you've had it out and you've tested it in worse conditions, drop a wee comment in the box and share it with others just to see how you got on with your one. But I give this tent a thumbs up. I'll put a link below where I actually got it. I think they've went up in price. Typical. So prices may vary from store to store. But I really like this little tent. If you're going bare minimum. If you're not, I mean that's me sitting up and I'm really just touching the top of the tent. Maybe need to crouch down a bit. But I did get changed, put my jumper on, managed to get things packed away. I changed into a night top, just to keep a bit warmer last night. So it's doable. Yeah, I really like this little tent. So the plan this morning is I'm just going to go and make myself a coffee. I'll get some breakfast, and because most of my stuff's packed away already, I'll repack, make things all sorted and squared away properly, and we'll get out of here. But what a lovely spot. Fantastic scenery across there. There's plenty of other places to camp around this area, so you don't have to be forced onto the beach close to the water. So maybe that's a bit of a call in there. Keep back from it a bit further. But I am drawn to the sea, so I couldn't help it. But yes, we'll put everything away, get this coffee and breakfast. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay folks, probably just timed this right. Found a break in the weather and managed to get the tent down in a wee bit of peace out of the rain, and it's just starting again. So I think I've timed it right for once. It just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching the video. If you like it, give me a wee thumbs up or something like that. If you've got one of these tents, please let us know how you get on with it as well. Here from a now wet Loch Etive, here up in Scotland. I shall leave you. That's me heading away, all packed up, ready to go. Thanks very much for watching. Keep camping on the wild side. See you next time.
I look into your eyes, I see we're out of time. I guess no one's to blame, nobody crossed the line. I guess we couldn't see, somehow we couldn't feel. Maybe we rose too fast, maybe we got too high. But I remember days I wondered we were always gonna last. Yeah, I do remember tears and the laughter. How could we fall so fast? Will be no hard goodbyes, thank God we're civilized. Be on our separate ways as we fade into grey. But I still miss the way you used to feel. Maybe we rose too fast, maybe we got too high. Yeah, I do remember tears and the laughter. How could we fall so fast and let us go? It's time to surrender now that it's ended. Nothing to say, 'cause guess we've said it all. Now why do we care to dream? Guess we wanna believe that it's not too late. And why do we care to dream? We gotta believe it is not too late.
Cheers.
I look into your eyes, I see we're out of time. Did what we could, my friend, but now we're at the end.